It's the I Can't Mom Today podcast with Heather, the new mom, and Vera, the seasoned mom. I Can't Mom Today.
Hey, this is Vera and Heather back again with another episode of I Can't Mom Today podcast. Hi, Vera.
Hello, Heather. How's it going?
It's going okay. How are you?
I'm good. I'm staring. You can't see me, but I'm staring at my fingers because I got these little, with my rheumatoid arthritis, my fingers, unfortunately, are starting to kind of warp a little bit. It's called a Swan Joint. It sounds so pretty, but really it is not.
Yeah.
It's where let's see, it's not your knuckle. So your first joint in your finger, so the first one up from your knuckle, it starts to kind of bend backwards. And then you get kind of a mallet joint in the top joint of your finger. So it kind of looks like a swan's neck. I hope I described that well. But anyway, a friend of mine is a hand therapist and occupational therapist for hands. And she turned me on to these little braces that you put on your fingers that help basically keep it from bending back more and kind of tries to retrain it. So it's a very strange, it does help, but sometimes they get a little uncomfortable. I'm trying to wear them as much as I can. But I can't stop. I feel like I have weird Band-Aids on my fingers all the time. So I keep looking at them what's going on? And then, oh yeah.
Eventually they'll become normal.
Yeah, I'm hoping so. But sometimes I can't do, I've been, since I've started doing Pilates, which has been wonderful, can't do Pilates with them because they start to cut off the circulation when I'm doing a down dog kind of thing or whatever.
Pilates or yoga?
Pilates, but they still do, they call it what does she call it? She doesn't call it a down dog. She calls it something else, but it's basically a down dog if you do yoga, where you have your hands on the ground and if you don't, you look like a letter A kind of.
Yeah.
Or an upside down V.
Stretching its back.
Yeah,
stomach.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there you go. That's the some of the big excitement in my life right now is my.
It sounds really fun.
I know, the life of a lady with
Hashtag getting older.
I know. Hashtag getting older sucks. But
yeah, I saw a meme the other day that it was somebody, it wasn't a meme, it was a video. This guy wakes up and the little caption is, when you sleep in an unusual place and you're assessing the damage. You're like, does my back hurt? Does my neck hurt? Oh, yeah. It's true. It's true.
Oh yeah.
I never sleep on my stomach. Why is my back hurt so bad?
Oh, I know. Or even if you go on a trip or something and you sleep with a, a hotel pillow and it's not the same as your regular pillow and your neck is ow, why did you sleep like that? Yeah. That I understand that. So, and contemplating, I actually just watched one of my favorite reality TV shows, my trashy TV, My Big Fat Fabulous Life. I love her. And she just got lip injections on this recent episode. And I was like, ooh, maybe I should do that. Of course, younger people do that too. But now I have noticed as I'm getting older that my lips are starting to disappear. I was like, no, I used to have such pretty lips, but I'm afraid I don't want to look like a fish. I don't want to look like a Real Housewife.
I saw somebody with lip injections in person because I've seen them on TV, whatever, but I could tell when they were drinking out of a straw, their whole outside of their lip was white.
Ooh.
I was like, oh my, I'm assuming this is assumption actually too. I could only assume that they had lip injections. I was fascinated, obviously. I'm I cannot look away. This has to be a lip injection. So assumption, which may be wrong on my part, but that's what I thought it was.
Well,
so
I
if
have
you know
a
anybody with lip
girlfriend.
Injections,
I do. Well, I do know a couple people. And so,
back.
Yeah. And I will say, one of the people, I think that she got a little, it's kind of like a lot of things where it's oh, I really like that. I want more. And I think she's at one point went a little bit too far with it. Yeah. Because I feel too, if you get too much, it starts to affect your speech. People start talking kind of like this, like Caitlyn Jenner. And yeah. So I didn't, of course, I didn't tell her that, but yeah. So I was like, ooh, but I noticed the last time I saw her that it looked better. So maybe she decided maybe it was too much or what. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe they have a health problem. And that's why I don't know. But I've never
Judgy
experienced.
Judgerson.
So rude. God, what an asshole. But I've never seen anybody, and there may be people out there, and this may not be common, right? This may just be like she had an adverse reaction. She doesn't have it. It's something else. But I've not known anybody to have lip injections. My universe really is Baker's daycare teachers.
Yeah.
That's it.
There you go.
Brad. That's usually my universe. So, in new developing stories in my life, I think
of universe,
I think I'm going through a midlife crisis.
Really?
Yeah, I quit my job yesterday or a couple days ago. No, a couple days ago.
2 days. Oh my God.
Well, I turned my notice. I didn't quit.
Okay.
And
like it wasn't like I'm quitting. It was
no. It was
okay.
it was a really hard decision and very emotional. And I didn't I'm just on the fence about it because I my boss is great. I love my coworkers, but I just don't feel like I fit there anymore. And I feel like there's something else that I need to be doing. And I don't know what that is, but I need to find it out. And it's like, and if I didn't quit, then I would never figure it out. I would just be there.
Keep grinding.
Yeah. And I was like, I need something else. I need something and I don't know what that is.
Yeah. Well, I always say, figuring out what you want is way harder than getting it,
Yeah. And so I'm really trying to do a deep dive. And I think I don't know if it's a midlife crisis. I don't know if it's because my dad died. I don't know what was a catalyst to that, but I definitely need a change. And I just don't know what that change looks like. But my boss is really great. She's like, if you want to come back and, if you want to, take a sabbatical, I'm like, I need to figure this out. And then I appreciate that if you have an open door for me, I do appreciate that so much. I just need to figure this out.
Yeah.
So,
wow.
It was really hard. And, Brad and I talked about it. And so I'm just gonna have to do whatever I can do to get money in, because obviously we are not in a position where I can just quit my job and eat bonbons on the couch or, take Baker out of daycare. I need to have some sort of income coming in.
Yeah.
And
donations can be sent to, I can't remember the podcast.
My Venmo is, but I need to figure it out for my mental health. And so that's where I'm at.
Do you have any idea of how you're going to try and figure that out?
So I'm doing a course right now that it's live your passion.
Okay.
And get paid for it kind of thing.
Oh.
So I told you, I read that book, Jay Shetty, Think Like a Monk. Mm-hmm. And I realized from that book, I have such a weird, my thought patterns are so negative, and it's not because I'm truly not a hugely negative person. I like to be, satire is a huge thing in my life. And, I just think it's funny. I think humor is a big thing, but somewhere along the line, it has turned where I am a lot more negative than I have ever wanted to be, or I do want to be. And so I'm trying to really change that part of my brain.
Yeah. You can be a little bit, as my mother would say, an Eeyore, a little bit of an Eeyore,
but not all the time. No. It's just I get in, I'll get in ruts, and I think everybody does, but I think that there are just certain things I was just God, that sounds like me and I don't like it. And so I'm just really trying to do an overhaul. And so that's why I'm damn it, is this a midlife crisis? Is this it was, so yeah.
Yeah. Well, I have a book actually, and I haven't finished it yet, but so far I really like it. I think I may have mentioned it to you. I think it's called The Law of Attraction. There's several, the book, The Secret. That's another one that's all about if you have a positive, in this book, they say be, do, have. So instead of saying, I'll be happy once I have $1 million, be happy first, and then do the things that you would do to try and get that $1 million. Not to say you'll eventually absolutely have the $1 million, but be happy first, make a choice to be happy. instead of saying, well, I won't be happy till I get that $1 million, or, I'm just using that as an easy example, but
Yeah.
where a lot of people say, I won't be happy till I lose 10 pounds, or I won't be happy till I get the car I want, or whatever. So it's been actually, even just when I just started reading the book, starting to kind of change she actually says that you can actually kind of change your brain pathways. Like your brain actually physically changes by changing the way you think, which is fascinating to me. But I started to notice, and I don't know if it's because it's really happening or because I'm changing the way I see the world, but I felt like positive things. I was, one of the things I wanted was more creativity in my world. And lo and behold, an old friend of mine, after I'd read the first portion of the book, reached out to me. I haven't heard from him in like 15 years, and says, you know, what's funny? I was cleaning out a closet and I found a tape you'd sent me of some of the old music that you'd written. Like, what are the chances of, the timing of it was just so fascinating to me. Mm-hmm. Like, I said to myself, reading this book, what do I want in my life? I want more creativity. I need to be doing more creative things. And then a day later, this friend that I haven't talked to in 15 years that happens to find a cassette, dear Lord, I'm old, a cassette of my old music, and reaches out to me. I mean, come on, it's kind of crazy.
It is bananas.
Yeah. So again, figuring out what you want and how you want to be, like if you want to be more positive, just kind of like making that a bit of a mantra or a part of your life, you'll probably find that things do become more positive.
Yeah. Well, I think there's a lot more to it for me than just thinking positive. Like, I think there's a lot of previous, for lack of a better word, trauma and incidences that have led me down this path. And so as an adult, you have to take that and say, I can do better. I can be better. And so I'm going to, but it's taking me like going to counseling and reaching out to friends that are experts, or, just trying to find a different path. Cause like my spirituality has been called into question for me. Like, I'm calling my own spirituality into question, and the beliefs that I've previously had, turning that into, like really diving deep into that and like what I truly believe. And, I'm really like, is it
sounds like a midlife crisis?
I'm trying to break like what has been told to me that I need to do and change it to, these are the things I want to do. And these are the things that I believe, not what I've been told to believe.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, that's a lot.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be, it's not going to be an instant fix. Unfortunately, I wish it was. I wish I could just snap my fingers and boom, done. But
it's a journey.
I know, like,
I hate that term.
Yeah.
But it's still the best way to describe it, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Your journey. We're always on a journey, Heather.
I know. Everybody really is. They just, sometimes you're in cruise control and sometimes you're actively using your map. And I'm trying to really actively use that map right now. And, I've got a lot of books on hold and ordered, and I'm really trying to change, not change myself, but just change my outlook and my thought pattern, and find happiness for me.
Yeah. Well, what does Brad think of all this?
Brad's so great. Right?
I wasn't sure if that was a good sigh or not.
No, I've always said this. Like, he always is very super supportive and always like, yeah, let's like figure it out. And, he's like,
he's rad. He's rad, Brad.
Yeah. Like, he's the best person.
Oh, so he's supportive of all this. Yeah.
He's like, whatever you need to be happy within reason. Obviously, like I have to work.
Yeah.
So we'll probably substitute teach in my local school district because I have a background in that, and it'll bring in some money. Listen,
we'll get some good stories from that.
It's not my content. Not my go-to. So being a substitute teacher is really difficult. I did it,
I'm sure,
briefly prior to becoming an actual teacher, just because you don't have that relationship with those kids. But this is like something else that I have to keep my mindset right. Like, this is one day. This is one day. You can do it, make it through this day, and this is not your life. This is, just a blip. And so, yeah, I'm really trying to set myself up for success there. And also take some learning experiences. Cause when I was a teacher, like at the time I thought I was doing good. Looking back on it, I'm like, man, I needed a lot more support than I had. And not to say that that's all the reason why I wasn't the best teacher, but
Yeah. Well, no, I certainly don't. I mean, as everybody learned, especially during the pandemic, trying to teach our own kids, that it's not easy being a teacher, man, especially, from what I've been told by my friends who are teachers, they say it's, between the paperwork and the logistics and the, parents and, it ain't an easy gig. And it's a labor of love. I have one friend he's a middle school teacher, and he says, he's like, the main reason I do it is summers. I get summers off, and I can get out of there by I can be home by 3:00 and go fishing or whatever. He's like, but that's when I'm having a terrible day. He had a kid throw a pencil at him that it pierced his eye.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. And then he got reprimanded because he cussed. He cussed at the kid. It was like, what the F are you effing doing? And then he got reprimanded.
Yep.
And he's like, it's so backwards. The kids can get away with murder almost literally. I mean, some of the stuff that he's told me, it's really scary, these middle school kids. And he's had to, intervene with some of the female teachers, he's like, this one teacher, she's small and she's petite. And these kids were like, threatening her basically. And he had to step in and try and help her out. But yeah. So anyway, being a teacher is not an easy gig, especially middle school, man. I would not want to be a middle school teacher in a million years. Middle school sucks.
Yeah. I don't know. I didn't go to traditional middle school, so I don't know what that looks like, but I just know kids are kind of awful starting around.
That's right.
Truly starting around like 5th or 6th grade. They just start becoming like, and it's it's part peer pressure, part what they learn from home. And what they see on TV and like all these outside circumstances. Like I'm not placing blame on one spot, but like they can be, it's like kind of like survival of the fittest, right? I'm gonna take you down because you take me down. And
absolutely.
Whether verbally or physically, it's man. I would never go back to school. I know some people are like, I would go back to this age. I would now, if I had to go back to a specific age, I would probably go back to like 4 or 5. Because I'm not in school yet. I can communicate what I need. I can get I'm a little bit independent, meaning I can go to the bathroom myself. I can, get snacks myself. No responsibility. Hell yes. I would take 4 or 5. Yes.
Oh, man. See, mine's 32. I'd like to be 32. Yeah.
Why?
Because you still look young, but you're smarter than you were in your 20s. And you have like that was before, for me anyway, it was before, I had Luke. Luke was 4 at the time, but I guess too, like Luke was a good age then. And I liked 32. Like you're young, but not stupid. And you have responsibilities, but I don't know, it didn't feel like, even though I was a single mom, it was still doable, because he was 4 and it was before he was a big stinky teenager. So I don't know.
Yeah, no, I go like 4, no responsibilities. 4. Somebody else has to take care of you.
See, I think
you're cute and cuddly. I mean, why wouldn't I choose that?
I'm too controlling. I like to be able to have more say in my world, I think.
Yeah.
And then I don't have to be around people I don't want to be around, except for Luke. I had to be around him, but
Yeah.
But other than that, yeah,
I guess I was forced to probably give hugs to people that I didn't want to.
Yeah, I always feel so bad when you're with somebody, like you see a friend and their little kid is with them and it's like, go hug Vera. And the kid's like, ugh.
Yeah.
I mean, some kids don't mind. Some are like, oh yeah, sure. And then other kids are like, ugh. Do I have to? Like
Baker
my
will be
niece.
like, I don't want to. And I'll say, okay, no big deal.
Yeah. That's all.
Like,
You don't have
that's
to.
okay. You don't have to.
Yeah, it's very awkward when the parent then makes the kid hug, no, you need to hug Aunt Vera. And it's like, really, you don't have to. It's totally fine. Like, I'm good.
Yeah. Like, how about a fist bump instead? You want to do fist bump?
Exactly. Yeah, it's very awkward. Well, my niece, my older niece, she's never liked hugging. She still doesn't. And she's a teenager now. And now it's kind of, I'd make it into a joke. I just say, because I don't get to see her, because she lives up in New Jersey. So like, will you give your aunt just a little hug? Just, it doesn't have to be, too long, just for a second. And then she'll just kind of stand there like, okay, you can hug me.
I'm here.
I'm here. Just go ahead.
I'm not reciprocating.
Exactly. Just get it over with. So yeah, I can't help it. I'm like, don't worry, But yeah, with other people's kids, a lot of times if the kid doesn't want to hug me, I'm like, it's totally fine.
Yeah, no, go.
Yeah. I should do that. I should say, just fist bump me. It's fine.
Yeah.
We have been all over the gamut today, I swear.
Yes, but if you have some suggestions on my midlife crisis or my reawakening of my
like books
true self,
books,
podcasts,
watch, read, listen to, yeah,
I'm open to any format, like be a documentary, an actual movie, TV show, whatever.
Yeah,
I am all about it. Like I've been listening to Deepak Chopra's. He has something on Audible. And
The Power of Now is really good. I didn't read it. I listened to it. The Power of Now. That's not Deepak Chopra. Okay. That's Eckhart Tolle. That Oprah's a big fan of his. It's called The Power of Now. Yeah. And I listened to the audiobook and he voices it and he's got this really funny way of talking because I think he's German or something. So he's got this funky accent and then he has this very soothing voice. So the pain body is something that will overcome. And it's but it's really good. And I felt it helped me a lot, actually. So I will recommend that to you. The Power of Now. Uh-huh. And it's interesting because it talks about how, you can, he talks about the pain body, which sounds a little bit weird and ethereal, but about how, like negativity breeds negativity, kind of that kind of thing. And that, being present in the moment and enjoying what's going on right now and being positive and all that kind of stuff. I'm not describing it very well. It's good. Just read it or listen to it. Of course, if you listen to it, then you'll know what I'm saying. The pain body.
I'll have to.
You're gonna laugh to
I think
yourself.
you've mentioned that before. But the Deepak Chopra one is Living Outside the Box. It's on Audible. So if you have.
Oh, cool. Yeah. One of my favorite quotes is from him. It's, the more sorrow, what is it? The more sorrow, one of my favorite quotes, I can't remember it. The more sorrow the more sorrow in your soul, something like that. The more sorrow carves into your soul. That's it. The more sorrow carves into your soul, the more joy it can contain. Okay. I was like, oh, that's cool. I like that. Because then if you're in a sorrowful time, you figure, well, okay, I'll be happier soon.
Yeah.
But yes, go ahead and email us if you have any suggestions. I Can't Mom Today podcast at Gmail. And of course, on our Facebook group, you can post something, our Facebook page, I Can't Mom Today podcast, and Instagram and Twitter and all that fun stuff as well. And make sure you rate us 5 stars.
Yes. Until next time.
Bye.
Bye.